Are you ready for what is described as a fantasy adventure masterpiece with 18 million total players and at least 0.000000001% of those players to actually play the game? That is pretty cool, right? That's a whole singular player at the very least. Aura Kingdom is a segregated semi-open world tab target MMORPG utilizing a cute anime aesthetic that has somewhat withstood the test of time, surviving longer than the vast majority of its competition. How? That is a very good question. Maybe because Aura Kingdom 2 launched onto mobile, it failed horrifically, and then I don't know, maybe this is all the studio has left. This is a game that I've played quite a number of times every single year. It was easy, it looked pretty good, and it really didn't eat up too much of my time playing casually. But just because players have enjoyed Aura Kingdom at some point in the past does not mean the game is still enjoyable in 2024. It doesn't mean that currently it has any real semblance of content cadence that would really warrant playing. In all honesty, it might not even receive updates, which is where we come in today. Theoretically, I could dive back into the game, give it another look, give my impressions on it, even though I played the game less than a year ago, but I think that that would be a waste of your time and mine. What I want to do is talk about what the game has done in the last year and where it's going, because it might not even survive into 2025. More and more MMOs are shutting down year after year, and who knows which game is going to be next. I wanted to get a gauge of how Aura Kingdom was doing in 2024 by looking at player numbers, looking at engagement, the community. With this in mind, I went to social media to get a rough estimate of community size and activity. My first stop was Steam, as it always is. One person logged in right now with a 2,165 player peak 10 years ago. This seems unusually low, so let's take a moment here to find out why. The last message on Steam was back in January 2023, a transfer service from Gamigo to X Legend, the developers of the game. I don't see anywhere stating that Steam access will be removed, just that they need to close some old infrastructure and technology. According to Reddit, though, it turns out that the Steam version was removed for unknown reasons, with no confirmation at all from the devs themselves. This is very unusual, very unexpected, and also really bad when it comes to community interaction, keeping your community actively engaged, keeping them up to date with what is going on, being transparent with them. My next stop was Twitter, which is apparently no longer functional since the game transferred service back to X Legend, and no additional Twitter service has since been opened. They're really not giving me a whole lot of faith here, man. Heading on over to Facebook now, I see 1,500 followers, which is admittedly very low. They only post once per month, which seem to be mere maintenance notices, and those really receive maybe like a dozen or so likes and a single comment, if that. Evidently, their community overall is really not very active across social media, and they are not really engaging in their community at all, so it makes sense. Why would their community interact with them when they're not interacting with their community? My next stop was Reddit. See how many total members there are and how many people are active during peak hours. 2,800 members, that's pretty bad for an MMO. 2 online during peak hours, that is even worse, given that I am one of those 2 people, and more than that, the other person that's there with me is likely just a Reddit bot. 2 threads made over the course of the last month, one of which is titled, "Is Aura Kingdom dead?" That is never a good sign. When people are going to Reddit and asking if your game is dead, that's probably because it is. If social media and a subreddit are anything to go off of, though, yes, this is a slowly decaying carcass. Everywhere I look, Aura Kingdom is doing horribly, yet it still somehow remains one of the more popular anime MMOs, which really isn't saying much about the game, but definitely does say a lot about the MMO genre right now. But, you know what, let's go ahead here and take a look at their website. Let's see the content cadence in the form of events and updates, because a game with no updates is a game in maintenance mode after all. Before we delve deeper into Aura Kingdom, however, allow me to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is why I can make videos like this every single month, and I deeply appreciate y'all being there for me. We're gonna go back to February 2023. Yes, That is roughly an 18-month period, I know, but that is when X Legend officially took back control of their game from Gamigo. I'm going to omit all instances of maintenance here since they seem relatively irrelevant to the game's content cadence from what I've seen. Their very first post in February 2023 detailed the new management of the game, and their servers crashed for a while. That was everything that happened in February 2023. Evidently, they're off to a great start. There was a patch release on the 8th of March, 14th of March, 21st, and 28th respectively. These seemed like weekly patches, and after clicking through some of them, they look like, for the most part, small updates with cash shop cosmetics and changes to alchemy. April had 4 small patches providing pretty much the same thing as March, small cosmetic updates to the cash shop and changes to alchemy. May was looking much better, 5 patches, and I see a limited time event there as well. I can't see any real explanation as to what that event really is, but apparently it involves accumulating XL points. I don't know. I don't really understand that. It doesn't really make sense to me. It looks weird. June had 4 normal patches, but their 4th one on the 28th detailed their preview for July's major update. After 1/3 of the year, they have confirmed that there was a major update coming that was more than just a small cosmetic change to the cash shop. There is a new boss monster, entirely new area, the Acadian map featuring a new tribe of NPCs, a new story, and more. In July, they rolled out the Dual Assault of Nunchaku expansion, which included new content along with a few small patches. August saw a few minor patches and the final War of Revenge and Redemption update. It's good to see that they've picked up the pace a little bit here, and we're seeing a lot more frequent content updates. September didn't provide much in terms of content, but they released the new Stellar Sphere class, providing a lot of replayability for characters, or for players rather. October saw your regular slew of normal patches. November saw absolutely nothing either. It's weird because there was no Halloween update or event in October. There was no Thanksgiving event in November, or at the very least there were no updates that these events were going live. Even if you don't celebrate them, they're both fantastic holidays and events to include in game. But again, they could have just not included them in the patch notes for whatever reason. Seems like a weird thing to omit, but whatever. Thank God at least December saw something related to Christmas, even if there still wasn't much in terms of new content. At this point, we are done with 2023, and honestly, it hasn't been too great. There were a few decent updates early on, but the last several months have just been silent. Maybe 2024 will look better for the game, show us a better, more fruitful future. Looking at January here, that does not seem to be the case. We have a few minor patches. That's fine. February is going to be much better. See, there is a Valentine's Day event update. The closure of the Valentine's Day event. Yeah, wait, no, that is not a good thing. Whoops. March saw a few minor patches again, no large updates, no major events. Okay. April was, oh boy, yeah, 2024 ain't looking too good. What happened? We were off to a decent start. Did they just stop caring? Maybe June or maybe even May will be better here. May saw some smaller minor patches with adjustments to alchemy and cash shop cosmetics. They also celebrated their anniversary event with some actual content. Not anything major, an Eidolon Zhangfei and some cash shop outfits. And then June also saw some outfits. Honestly, I really wasn't expecting too much from Aura Kingdom, but this was just something else altogether. They might not have released too much in 2023, but there was still, nevertheless, a semblance of content cadence. 2024 was just a catastrophe. Clearly, they have given up and are banking on whales spending money on outfits to keep their characters looking cute. Aura Kingdom is absolutely not what you expect in 2024. It's dead. It's actually genuinely pretty much dead. There are some loyal, dedicated players that are continuing to play the game, but otherwise, it is just dead, sadly. Now, if Aura Kingdom is not an MMO that you're at all interested in, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now. Might be more up your alley.